Today I'm wearing my Bigfoot shirt and my New York Giants hat that my buddy Elton bought for me. I just found out yesterday that my buddy Elton, close friend of mine, passed away of COVID, and so this is kind of in tribute to him. We spent a lot of times over campfires talking about Bigfoot. It was a big part of his tradition, and he's a Ute Indian, and also big, huge New York Giants fan. So this is for Elton. He loved Italian food. Every time he'd come up, we'd go down to the really nice Italian restaurant and get some Italian food. He was a big lover of food. So we love you, buddy. We miss you. I'm going to cut these really fine. Sometimes I cut them big because my wife hates onions. And but this time we're going to just kind of go a little more subtle. But if I cut them big, she can pick the onions out. But she's not here today, so we're gonna cook these for us. Got a little olive oil in here. You can use butter if you want, but I like it olive oil. I'm gonna start cooking these suckers up. While that's going, I'm gonna cut the other onion and throw that in there as well. Good. Nice. And it's not too early to throw in this rice because this can all cook together. So I'm just gonna throw it all in there together. Just like that. And then we can start stirring it. There we go. I'm gonna throw a little bit more olive oil just to let it soak in there. So I bought this online because it's too expensive. If you go to your local grocery store, this is often pretty expensive. This is specific to making risotto. It's called arborio rice. I bought this in bulk. Like I bought like a 10-pack. I can't remember how much it was, but this keeps for a long time. It's vacuum packed, and this whole thing right here will expand and feed like an army. All right, so you can see I've got a little bit of asparagus. These are the parts of the asparagus that we usually throw away. We're going to use that to just season the stock. It's going to really add a lot to this. We got some garlic, we got some onion, and we got some carrots, and you can even throw some celery in here to make this a little bit more. I'm going to add a little bit of water because this risotto, when we start cooking the rice, takes a little bit more stock than you normally think it's going to take, because it takes a little while to cook. So this vegetable stock is looking awesome. Oh, it smells like asparagus. Got a nice blend. I'm going to start throwing this right in here, right off the bat. And this is going to add a little bit of flavor. We're going to add some salt and pepper here in a little bit, but right now we just want to get some liquid in there so it doesn't burn. Leave that there. I'm going to come over here. We're just going to let these start to cook good. And then while we're in the middle of that, we're going to take our asparagus over here. Alright, this is kosher salt. I'm going to put this in and sprinkle that in. Maybe just a little bit more. Good. Just a little pepper. If you're using like chicken stock or some stock like that, then you're going to want to be careful with how much salt you put in. If you keep adding it in, it starts to get a little bit too salty. So we're just going to start chopping it like this. You can go bigger if you want. You can do whatever you want. It'll cook. We're going to keep a few of these for the top. Alright, I want some of this to take on some of the flavor of this asparagus. So I'm going to throw some of this in already. We're going to mix it up, start throwing it in here. You can see how it's starting to lose a little bit of the moisture. So this is just kind of one of those things, you just keep adding stock. And this is awesome. If you just do it with chicken stock or anything like that, it'll work great. And that'll start taking a little bit more shape. Alright, now we're going to do a little bit of something that you wouldn't normally equate with Italian food. You can do this with lemon as well. Lemon's used quite a bit in Italian cuisine, but we're going to throw a little bit of ginger. We're going to just spritz a little bit, like zest a little bit onto here, and it's going to add just a little bit of flavor. So we're going to just take the zester, You want too much, you don't want it to overpower. That's probably plenty right there. And we're just gonna spread it on into here just a little bit. Any point along the way, add a little bit of white wine. It's probably only about a half a cup, but it'll add a ton of flavor. It'll kind of cook out and just give it a little bit more of a pop. Towards the end, you don't want to add too much water, too much stock, or else it'll get mushy. You want to get it to the point where it's al dente. And then right before we get to that point, we're going to add a little bit of Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. Alright, this pot, every time I cook with this thing, I think of my wife's grandma, who was an awesome cook. She was an awesome lady. But this pot has been she had been using with my father-in-law's now 68, 69 years old, and he was using this when he was a little kid. I mean, eating out of it. So she's been using this for years. She might have even had it before he was born, for all I know. But whatever the case, I love using this thing. This wood handle doesn't conduct heat, and it just kind of reminds me of just a little bit of heritage, a little bit of heirloom. I'm hoping to pass some of this on to my kids. I hope it's still in shape. Alright, this baby's getting really close. What we're going to do now is we're going to throw some cheese on there. Some Parmigiano Reggiano. We're just going to sprinkle this out. Pre-grated. It's going to add a lot. You can put as much cheese in there as you want. That's probably about a third of a cup. It's going to add a nice creamy texture to this. Just kind of put it in there right at the very end. And just keep stirring it. Make sure it doesn't burn, because you don't want to add too much liquid at this point. I think we're getting really close. Alright, just tasted it. Tastes awesome. I'm going to turn the heat off. Right there. I'm going to dish this baby up. You can see how it's kind of nice and creamy. Oh. There, like that. Alright, she's ready to eat. We're just going to sprinkle a little bit more Parmesan. Put a couple of these I've been cooking off to the side on here. And then you can give it a try. Oh, that asparagus is awesome. Just perfectly cooked, al dente. You don't want it to get it mushy. Nothing worse than mushy rice or pasta. The asparagus is really, really good. You can do this with anything from peas to carrots to sausage to seafood. Seafood is one of my favorite ways to do risotto. This can be used so much. It's very, very versatile. It's just a matter of cooking it and letting the rice take in a lot of that flavor from all the onion and the stock and the asparagus. I just cook it in slowly, and it just takes on a really, really nice flavor. Very awesome.